What's going on, everyone? Welcome and thank you for stopping in. Today is the final overview slash short-term review of the Andre de Villiers Tac Butcher. And for starters, guys, I absolutely love this mirrored sheep's foot blade. It calls my name. It looks exquisite. It is amazing. And we'll go over some specs of the guy and then we'll dive into it. So you have a mirrored S35 VN sheep's foot blade that is phenomenal. You have a nice fuller running from about it runs about 3/4 of the whole blade, and it looks just phenomenal. You got the thumb disc up here, and I have actually over the last couple of weeks become a huge fan of the thumb disc idea. Never really experienced it until just recently with this and a Trevisa knife that I had that I have the thumb disc. Now, not that I prefer it over the typical thumb studs, but it's nice to have a little bit of a change up here and there, and the thumb disc definitely does that. For a bigger knife, it has good action. It's got the drop shutty action, very hydraulic-y in a sense. It almost feels like it needs broken in a little bit, but it's got good hydraulic action. It's tougher to do under the camera, guys. Especially with this bigger knife, but the action is good. It thwacks out of there every time. It's just the flipper tab works very well. So the thumb disc and your flipper tab are your main means of deployment. The S35 VN is gonna perform phenomenal. You have titanium handles. You have circular milling done on the show side. You don't have that on the clip side, but that's actually good with me. You have a geared titanium backspacer. You have a semi-deep carry titanium clip. You do have an over travel stop there. The pivot looks awesome on both sides, show side and clip side. Very well done hardware, in my opinion. You have an integrated lanyard hole in that titanium backspacer. You have jimping with the geared backspacer. Just allows you to have very good control. Nice landing spot here on that thumb disc. Great size, in my opinion. Yeah, it is a little bigger, but it's a great size if you like a little bigger of a knife. And speaking of that, why don't we go ahead and cover, so it's 3.5 cutting edge, and then you got it's more like, well, what is it, like 13/16, like 3 13/16 total blade length. And then you're coming in around it's like 9/16, 8 9/16 on the total length. So it's a good sized boy. We'll go ahead and weigh him on the scale here. So this is going to be a lot like the AD15 weight. A little bit lighter than the AD10, so not anywhere close to too heavy, in my opinion. The AD10 is nothing for me to carry, so this is just fine with me. I think that milling across the board helps out quite a bit. So we'll go ahead and do some quick size comparisons, guys. I don't have a ton of time, but there's the Oser F22. There is the Remet tactical folding knife. I forget what they call it. The GD22K. Here is the Knock Knives Tac DT03. That's actually a fairly good comparison. The Oser isn't much smaller than that guy. Here is a popular budget knife in the Remet hand feel. So you can see it's quite a bit bigger than that guy. The Knock Knives is actually a very good comparison knife with the Tac Butcher. Here is the Elite Tactical Traverse. Not the Chevy Traverse, but the Elite Tactical Traverse. You can see it's quite a bit bigger than that guy. Here is the Elite Tactical Wretch. And those are very similar in their blade shape. They're both kind of sheep's footy. There is the Concept Main Street. So you get a pretty good idea. It's a good size. It's not a small knife, and it's not a huge extra large knife, but it definitely is a good size. So this was loaned in from Carco. There's no detent lash. There's no side-to-side play. No up and down play. Just a phenomenal mid-tech knife. This is really my only experience with a mid-tech, and I truly have enjoyed it with my the time that I've had with it. And I can see there's just a little bit more attention to detail with these knives, these mid-techs, and you can really tell that. It's cool to see the differences, you know, and throwing it up against a $20-$30 budget knife, a $200 knife, a $300, a $400 knife. So it's kind of cool just to get the idea of, you know, why these knives cost a little bit more. And this might not be certain guys' cups of tea. Other guys, you know, this is what they're striving to get. Carco didn't cheap out on this guy. This is a pretty pricey knife. I want to say they're coming in right around the $600 mark. It depends on what model, where, and when you found it. I know these are hard to get right now. At least the last time I looked, these were very hard to get. It does not have a lefty carry, so this will be a right hand tip up only style carry, which, you know, that's the way it works a lot. You know, when you get up with these knives, you're gonna have to get a lefty mid-tech. Not always, but typically. I did do some cutting, nothing crazy. I didn't carry this at all because it's not mine. But Carco gave me permission to, you know, do some cutting and whatnot. And the time that I used it, it did very, very well. One thing that I really think helps is not only is it pretty thin for such a big knife, you have a nice tall blade and it's pretty thin down here, but this mirrored finish really helps it glide through material, in my opinion. So, you know, I can see what the big attraction is to these knives, and someday I might be in the market to get something like this, but with having the channel and so on and so forth, it's just not in the cards for me right now. But I can definitely see the attraction to this guy. And just a quick overview. The S35VN is a great steel in my opinion. The mirrored finish on the blade is phenomenal. The thumb disc and the rear flipper tab are great opening methods for this guy. I butchered that one. Tac butchered it again. But it's good on the push button. It's a little light. It's more of a light switch type of guy. And I think it might need strengthened up just a smidge. Now, I haven't oiled this or anything like that. I didn't take it apart. I didn't mess with anything. I didn't oil anything. I didn't want to do any of those types of things. It's not my knife. But It does feel like there's some grit in there, but I don't want to mess with Carco's knife, you know, any more than necessary, other than some routine cutting. I've kept it nice and clean, sealed up in its pouch, other than when I got it out to do these 2 videos and then do some mild cutting. But I think with a nice cleaning, maybe strengthen up that lock bar just a touch, and this guy is gonna be thwacking out every single time. But that will wrap it up for this one, guys. The Tac Butcher from Andre de Villiers is definitely one hell of a knife. I really like it. Shout out to Carco, and thank you for loaning it in, brother. It's a spectacular knife. You got a good one here. Just when you get it back, it's going to need a little cleaning. But thank you guys. If you're still here, I love you. If you're still here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button just down below the video. And I'm talking to you right there that's not subscribed. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, guys, love you, and I will catch you on the next one.